Hello folks, good morning. So today we're going to look at two different types of parabolas. Okay, and this is the type of curve you get when you throw something. It goes flying through the air. Alright, so one when the main axis is vertical, so this parabola is going to go up and down like that. And this one where the main axis is horizontal, so the parabola is going to be this kind of a shape. Alright, in this one here we're going to add the added twist of having some awkward numbers on the side. So for the main axis vertical, the questions we're going to use for this today come from page 280 of our book here. So this is the vertical one, this is the horizontal. I'll write these dimensions in. And we are going to use the rectangle method. So for the main axis vertical, we have a dimension of 140, and there's your main axis, and across this side we have 100. Okay, so that's what we're going to work off. Now, the main thing, just lost 140, there you go, now you can see it. We're going to work off divisions of 4 or 5. 4 or 5. Now, that's the key thing. And in this case here, well, I'm looking straight away, I see both of those are nicely divisible by 5, so I'm going to go with 5 divisions. So let's go draw this little rectangular construction and see how we actually do our parabola. Okay. So 140 long. Of course, if I thought of this, I'd have used the measurements here, but anyway, it doesn't matter too much. There we are. We'll just slide to reassess. Okay, so that's my outer rectangle. Now, I do need to also mark the main axis, which is halfway along. So there it is at 50 mil. I'll just draw this in as a light construction line for the moment. And the most important thing when you're doing a parabola, if you want to avoid a little slip, is to figure out where is the vertex. Now in this case, in our question, the vertex is given as there, marked as V, and this is it here. This is how I know it's going to go all the way up, flatten off, and all the way back down again. Now when we do these guys, we're going to do one side and then we're just going to do a copy over to the other side. Much easier. So 5 divisions, well that is 50 mil across. We just slide this so you can see it. So 5 divisions is actually quite easy. 10 mil each time. There we go. And these lines are going to be drawn parallel to the main axis. Now these are all light construction lines. They should be a little bit lighter again in your drawing. I'm just going a bit dark so you can see them. Okay, so we have 5 divisions. 10 mil. Oh, I'm afraid you can't see that. Okay, anyway, 5 divisions of 10 mil. So on this side, we're going to do the same. Go to 5 divisions of, well, 140 divided by 5. And don't get too stressed about these things. You can do this on your calculator. 140 divided by 5 is 28. There we go, of 28 mil. Now, let me just start from the bottom here and divide it up. Now, depending on how you are with your 28 times tables, you may know that 28 by 2 is 56 and so on and blah, blah, blah. But you can just keep readjusting the ruler in case you're not quite as up to speed on those ones as everybody else. And there we go. So those are my little divisions. I'll make those a little bit bigger so you can see them clearly on the video. Okay, now these guys all go up to the vertex. So each of those comes across like this. All right. We get this, pretty little pattern here that we're going to use to draw the parabola. Okay, now this is a point here. I mean, strictly speaking, there is a line from there to there, but since it identifies this point, there's not really much point in drawing it. Now, you can number them if you like, or you might begin to see as we go up and in, we go across one and in one of these, and it's where they meet. See there? Where this diagonal line and this vertical line meet. This diagonal line meets the next vertical line. There it is there. This diagonal line meets the next one across. There it is there. and there, and then you see we have the vertex. So those are the points on our parabola. Now, that's one half done, and then the second half, the good news is actually slightly easier. We're just going to do an axial symmetry. Now, if you don't know what that is, don't worry. We just draw a little line across. Okay, draw the whole way if you're not sure where it goes. And make sure you have your compass to hand. Because this parabola is symmetrical about the main axis. So this is just the same distance across either side. So there is my next point. There we go. All the way down. You can see this is a good bit faster than redoing all the constructions. I mean, you could redo them, but it's not really much point. And there we have all of our points. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to sketch this in freehand. Now, if you want, on a nice big drawing like this, see the way I'm holding the pencil all the way down here? This will give me a nice big sweep. And it's often easier for drawing the lines kind of straight. So I'll do it kind of lightly like this. Get around here and try and get the shape of it. And once I can see where it's going, it doesn't matter if I make a mistake at this point. Okay, then I can go back and go over it heavy when I know where I'm going. This takes a bit of practice and you will get better at it. You can see as I'm going over heavy, I've moved my fingers down the pencil a little bit. It's just a bit easier to get some more pressure on it and draw it darker. You get a lovely, nice curve of your parabola. Ta-da! Okay, now let's move across and see can we do one with our main axis horizontal. So it's all the same technique, but it is just, you know, it just turns around a little bit. So the drawing we're going to use, again, it's on page 280, and the dimensions we're taking like this are 66 on this side and 128 on this side. Now, this is where you begin to have your little warning bells going off in your head, because 66, that means this is 33. All right, so this is a little bit more awkward. Now, let's start by drawing the box. We'll worry about it. Oh, by the way, the vertex is there. Okay, so this time we are going to use our ruler here. We'll bring this up a bit so you can see it more clearly in the video. So 128. We'll actually just do a construction line. I'm going to move mine across because I want to make it easier for you guys to see. So I will work off from there to there. All right. And 66 is actually fairly small. So let's mark it off there. That's 66. I will mark off our 33, which is the halfway point. There. Okay. Okay, so what we have now is we have 128 on this side and 33 here. So it makes 66 the whole way across. All right. 66 there to there. So that's 33 there to there. Okay, and that is our vertex. Always write in the vertex, because otherwise you can go, just add a slip, you can do the thing backwards, or you can out of habit try and do it with the vertex up here. So write it down there. Now, first of all, 128, that looks like it's divisible by 4. And again, if you're not sure, just again check this on your calculator. 128 divided by 4, and it is 32. So we may as well work with our 4 divisions this time. All right, so we'll go with 4 divisions. No point in making extra work for ourselves. 3 doesn't give you enough information. By 6 divisions, you're just making more work. So we'll divide this one up nice and easy. That was 32 millimeters. So there we go. 32 and 64. And we'll just reset again. And 32 and quick check, yeah, 64. So that's going to give us these divisions. Remember, these lines are going to go diagonally to the vertex. All right. This here is my main axis. All right, so the ones that will go, the lines that are parallel to that, well, you'll have lines parallel to the main axis, which is going to be like this, this, and this. These ones can never be parallel to it, so they're going to go diagonal to the vertex. Right, what do we do about our 33? Well, here we need to use a little technique to break it up evenly. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into 4 divisions. So with my ruler here, I'm going to go off, I'm going to pick a number that's close to 33, like 40. All right. And that divides very evenly into 4 in little 10mm slots. So that's a 40mm line with 10mm divisions. That's what we have here. And the angle, any angle will work. Okay, so don't stress too much about the angle. However, I would say ballpark 30 degrees works pretty well. Okay, if it's 40, we don't care. If it's kind of 10 or 15 degrees, it just gets annoying and fiddly. And if it's bigger, it does get kind of annoying. So roughly 30 degrees. Now, we're going to connect the end of that line to the end of the line we want to divide. And all of the other little divisions here are going to be parallel. So I'm going to set up my set squares like this. And I'm just going to use sliding set squares, there we go, to get my parallel lines. There we go. And there we go. So now I have 4 even divisions. So it's a little bit more work, but it's actually not super hard to do. So it's a technique well worth doing. Sometimes people think it's a random little construction, but we will use it a fair bit. So again, just like before, now we do our lines parallel to the main axis. Okay, so we have a point here. We want the first diagonal line and the first parallel line, the second and the second, and the third and the third. And there's our parabola. It is actually a little easier to draw than with 5 divisions. It might seem like it's more work, but it's more work in the constructions, it's less work on the drawings. So, you know, up to you, but I wouldn't be adding, if I have 128 there and I can divide by 4, I'll go with that. All right, so we can see this is, for me, I always find this arc, because I'm right-handed, is the hardest one to do. So sometimes, if you can hear the movement there, I've actually gotten up out of my chair. And we'll just see, can we bring this in? So this is just a bit more awkward, but there we go. If you can't get it one direction, go at it the other direction. And you're looking for a line that's fairly smooth. All right, so mine was a little bit messy at the start, but it is beginning to come together. Now it should curve, and by the time it gets around to the vertex, it is going this direction. Okay, so it can turn fully for the other side. We don't want a little peaky parabola. Now we've got that done. We just do the other sides. There we go. A little bit of axial symmetry, just like before. If you find your compass is hopping up like that, just give it a little poke and stick it into the page, and it should be much easier. And there we have our other ones. Just darken them up so you can see them more clearly on the video. There we go. So see the way it kind of comes out like that? And I don't know about you, but I find this type of a curve much easier to draw. It comes together a bit easier. All right, and there we have it. Parabola with the main axis vertical, parabola with the main axis horizontal, and our little technique here to divide things up if we can't get an even division. Do not be tempted to try and use decimals. Okay, 32 divided by 4 is 8.25, but you know, it gets messy. It's because as you begin to move up and try and round them, the errors will stack up and you'll push them off towards the end. Okay, this technique, it actually only takes a second when you get into it, and it's well worth doing.